So some of you know that one of my peculiar spiritual practices on Sunday afternoons is either watching football or golf in the off season of football. And I am an absolute sucker for the sports movie genre. Tears always come to my eyes, no matter how many times I see the underdogs win. Whether it's Rudy running on the field for Notre Dame or the small-town Hickory basketball team in Hoosiers. I love the movies about the first people of color becoming part of the game, like 42, the story of Jackie Robinson, or Glory Road, or Remember the Titans. Or the stories about women in sports, which gives us one of Tom Hanks' most famous lines in A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. How many times have I said that, but not talking about baseball? I love it when everyone in a school or college or town comes together for healing and community, such as in We Are Marshall, where the town and school recover from a tragic airplane crash that took away most of their football team and staff. And that's why I love our slogan this year, We Are Prairie. It makes me feel like cheering. We are Prairie, mighty, mighty Prairie, and everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. We are Prairie, mighty, mighty Prairie, and everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. Now remember that the next time we're marching out there, okay? Yeah. Who knew? Every one of us make up this community. We are each needed, whether we're in agreement or in disagreement, because community is where you can overcome those divides and see through to the heart of a person, which is what Kenny was talking about, our inherent worth and dignity. We are each needed to hold one another's hands through the good times and the bad, the graduations, the coming of ages, the marriages, the new births, the new jobs, as well as the deaths, the illnesses, lost jobs, and divorces. We are each needed to support our congregation when some of us take to the streets or attend city council and school board meetings or fight for legislation and change that would address racism, sexism, homophobia, or poverty, or our environment. Our faith is about radical inclusion and acceptance, that every person possesses inherent worth and dignity and deserves to be treated with compassion and fairness. We cannot agree on everything 100%, and thank goodness for that, because we need those who will challenge and raise good questions, and those who would make our plans and ideas more sound. We come freely together to create this church. No one, believe it or not, really, truly, is forced to be or stay here. Okay, kids. Don't run for the doors. No one is required to attend all the meetings of our boards, teams, and committees. And frankly, no one is required to be committed to Prairie. So to the degree that you are, it's a freely arrived at choice. And it's amazing to me how deeply committed so many of you are. Margot, whom you saw light our chalice, has been our stewardship chair for 3 years. Molly Martin and Melissa Bishop singing for us Sunday after Sunday, year after year. John Kelty teaching our children and all the justice work he does, including representing us for the Interfaith Habitat Alliance year after year. And there's Joe Francis, who won't be here next week because he's going to be in Hawaii, hosting our high school youth year after year for a skiing trip and a summer camp. All of you who come together every Sunday to create this space, hold our fundraisers, bring our snacks and goodies, care for one another with cards, visits, phone calls, and casseroles. I think the Lukashevskis have visited everybody who is sick this year, and I am not even making that up. They are amazing. All while holding on to and growing into a larger faith vision of the beloved community, a world dreamed of by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in which everyone would see one another as neighbors and join together no matter what race, ethnicity, job, or vocation, or religion. That dream is echoed in our principles and purposes, giving us a positive and forward-thinking way to live out our liberal faith values in the world. What if we didn't have this church? What if we disappeared? What if there was no one left to care or dream of community together in this free, liberal, religious space? What if there were no We Are Prairie? Every year, as we gear up to ask you to more deeply commit yourself to our community through your financial giving and your service, we often have those who moan a bit, and I'm one of them sometimes, that we don't have old-fashioned guilt to lay on you, or the threat of eternal damnation to get your generosity going. But I really wouldn't have it any other way, would you? That this positive message, commit yourself to this community, is our message. Because it will stand by you in hard times. It will teach you deeper understandings of love and compassion. It will bring you friends and companions for the journey. It will grow your heart, and if you let it, it might even save your life. Our theme this month is mystery, and there is something mysterious that happens within us when we commit ourselves to a higher vision for ourselves and community. Commitment gives birth to devotion, loyalty, honor, courage, and character within us. It gives our lives meaning. Philosopher John Paul Sartre once said that commitment is an act, not a word. This brings to mind that famous story of Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson visiting Henry David Thoreau in jail when he was arrested, and I heard someone talking about being arrested and proud, for refusing to pay his poll tax as a protest of the Mexican War. Emerson came to pay the bail, and he asked, "Henry, what are you doing in there?" And Thoreau quietly replied back, "Ralph, what are you doing out there?" This is our heritage, to be with those who raise the questions about our culture and society, and who are willing to stake a part of themselves. As Universalist Olympia Brown, the first regularly ordained woman minister in our country, says in what will be our closing affirmation, "You are strong enough to work for a great, true principle without counting the cost." This faith and this church, each one of you, inspire me and many of us every day to walk out into our world and join hands with friends that we don't know, friends that we will come to know, friends of many faiths who have and hold a similar vision of beloved community. We need the Unitarian Universalist religious community to sustain our commitment to this world, to give us a deep spiritual well from which we can draw. We need this church here in the southern suburbs of Denver as a beacon for questioning and liberal thought, a place where we can support one another and bring to life compassion. Our church needs you, your spirit and commitment to this cause of free religious community. And I promise it doesn't hurt to dive in too deep. It doesn't hurt to even give more than you thought you could. We often say of governments that the national, state, or city budget is a moral document. And just as you heard in our Time for All Ages conversation, how you spend your time, energy, and money also is a moral decision, an outward sign of how you commit your heart. As you think about your commitments, I also invite you to consider a deeper service to this church and become one of our associates. Our form of elder or deacon in one of these areas, teaching, worship, justice, stewardship, pastoral care. And we also have youth associates, those young people that are dedicated to bringing young voices into leadership in our church. This is a 2-year commitment to the ministries of our church, and there will be a sign-up sheet in the back for you to sign up if you're interested. And I hope you'll think about it. I have an experiment today, and one that I had imagined in one way, as all of you coming forward to do something magical with me. But as some of us who were here early realized, that might be a little scary. So I'm going to do the scary part, and I'm going to bring some magic to us. And I'm going to call some words out, but I want you to call out some words too. And imagine what I'm about to do now, this spark this flame as a prayer for the commitments that you want to bring to this church or into your lives. And that means anything. So I'm going to start with justice. Come on, what else? What do you commit yourself to? Peace. Love.
Joy.
This is the scary part. Joy. If I go higher, I'm better, right? What else? What?
Kindness.
Kindness. That was kindness. Community.
Generosity.
20% increase in pledge.
That was for that. Charity.
Unity.
Community.
Taking care of nature.
Respect.
Woo, respect caused a lot of pain. But we can do it. What else? Community?
Grace. All right, I'm going to do a couple more. I want you to put a prayer in your heart for what you commit yourself to. Me too. Learning. That was a great way to end. So join with me in a prayer. A prayer for this church and for our commitments. Creative and loving Spirit, hear the desires of our hearts, souls, and minds. May they burn within with love and compassion, filling us each with the gifts of the Spirit, kindness, generosity, gratefulness, courage, and hope. On this morning, may we each recommit ourselves to the Prairie Unitarian Universalist Church, our covenant to care for one another, our world, and our earth. And may the burning within our hearts call us to love, creating together a joined congregation of the Spirit. Amen. All right. So, and in that spirit, we will receive your gift.